military capabilities compared to China's in the real world. Joining us now for analysis is international military analyst Rick Fisher, senior fellow at the International Assessment and Strategy Center. Rick, good afternoon. Good to see you again. So based on recent operations, how would you say, how wide is the capability gap between the U.S. military and China's?
Well, Don, it's clear that American strategy, American organization, American weapons work very well. Indeed, the weapons that we've sold to Israel, that Israel has also used in this war, work very well. What we have not yet seen is a significant demonstration of China's weapons. We've seen the weapons that China has helped Iran to build, most of the ballistic missiles, most of the drones that have been launched, contain some kind of Chinese content, either a lot or a little. And that is certainly significant in terms of assigning a responsibility for the damage emerging from this conflict. But the one time in the last several years where we have actually seen a Chinese weapon system actually function well was about a year ago between India and Pakistan, when Chinese-made J-10C jet fighters, Chinese-made long-range air-to-air missiles, and Chinese-made AWACS guiding those missiles and aircraft actually worked to take down several Indian combat aircraft. The degree to which we can see Chinese weapons working in the current Iran war is simply not the kind of measure that we can expect should China launch a surprise strike against Taiwan, a massive surprise strike that takes Taiwan completely by surprise and potentially causes very grave damage to that democracy.
So, Rick, do you think these real-world demonstrations of Chinese equipment is hurting its credibility as a supplier, perhaps for weapons?
Well, on one level, yes, of course. The countries that have purchased these weapons, like Venezuela, Iran most recently, and seeing that they don't work or get taken out very quickly, yes, that should be very disturbing to them. But we also have to be nuanced in our interpretation of this data. Was the Chinese weapon taken out because of the superiority of an American weapon, or was it taken out because of the superiority of American electronic and cyber warfare, or was it taken out because the Iranian or Venezuelan operators simply could not put their capabilities together and use those weapons as they were designed?
Okay, so on that note, maybe you can break down some of the key differences about the discipline, skill, and values of American soldiers versus Chinese-trained soldiers.
Well, in terms of commitment, striving for professionalism, being briefed about their enemy, I would say that the Chinese soldier is quite near a peer to that of the United States. If a Chinese soldier is ordered to shoot down a Taiwanese aircraft or an American aircraft, they will not hesitate, and they will use the equipment that they're given as it's designed to be used. Will that weapon succeed? Again, that will also be dependent upon the training of the Chinese soldier, sailor, airman, and indeed, the People's Liberation Army has invested heavily in training over the last 30 years. And that training, as far as we can tell from open sources, has become far more sophisticated and is beginning to approach the realism that the United States and its allies seek in their large-scale training exercises. China is still behind the curve a bit, but it's catching up. Its investments in simulators is enormous. The use of simulated systems on their weapons, on their tanks, on their aircraft is, in my opinion, impressive. If China, again, was able to achieve broad strategic surprise, especially on the Taiwan Strait, it could do significant damage. And we need to understand that and prepare ourselves accordingly.
Okay, so on another issue, the Chinese Foreign Ministry held a press conference, and there's some points it made that caught your attention, specifically that, quote, China does not go along with attacks against countries in the Gulf region and condemns non-discriminatory attacks against civilians or non-military targets. So what are your thoughts on that? Why did this catch your attention?
Well, Don, this is evidence of vast and cruel, amazingly cruel hypocrisy on the part of the Chinese Communist regime. They are, in a sense, condemning Iran's strikes against civilian targets in the Gulf states, in Iran, of course, Saudi Arabia. Of course, they don't mention Israel. But nowhere in that statement is there any acknowledgement that the missiles and drones causing the indiscriminate civilian casualties have been largely enabled by Chinese parts, Chinese technology, and perhaps more recently by actual guidance cues provided by Chinese surveillance and targeting satellites. Just amazing callousness and hypocrisy.
And is that being received in such a way that you described on the global stage? What has been the reception?
Well, it's not clear that China's diplomatic actions, its statements, are really getting the attention that they deserve. I mean, they're not getting attention because, in a sense, China really isn't doing anything to help anybody. It's not really doing anything to ameliorate the damage. It's sent a special envoy to the Middle East region, trying to gin up enthusiasm for a ceasefire. But the United States and Israel are not interested in that. And clearly, all of the statements emanating from what passes as a government in Iran indicates they're not interested either. So the Chinese are just peddling around, being ineffectual. All of their investments in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and other organizations that have been part of a Chinese scheme to try to displace American influence in the Middle East has come crashing down. And so China is left making these ineffectual statements, such as was made by the foreign ministry spokesman on March 12th, that, they're sorry for the indiscriminate missile and drone strikes against civilians, but golly, we had nothing to do with that. I mean, it's just inexcusable.
Yeah, I'll just reiterate what you said. China's left to peddling and ineffectual statements. Just one last thing here, Rick. You got a new op-ed out today called "The Space Dimensions of the Iran War." Can you just talk to us about this? You said there are direct lunar implications for the Iran war. What are they?
Well, absolutely. War on Earth is increasingly determined by space power. Your satellite constellations in low Earth orbit, your satellites in deep space, your potential combat satellites in low Earth orbit, deep space, cislunar space, and very soon the military capabilities that you can deploy from the moon itself. The moon is becoming the high ground for combat on Earth. So as this war continues, I was simply making the point that it is very, very important that the United States continue its Artemis lunar program, a program that now has been joined by 61 other nations on this planet. It's very important that the United States get to the moon, not necessarily get there first, although, yes, that's important at some level, but what is really important is that the United States populate the moon as quickly as possible, gather up strategic points on the moon so that we can defend our access if necessary, and also access for our 61 Artemis partners and the other democracies especially. Russia's war against Ukraine, now in its 4th year, has forced massive diversion of resources from Russia's space program, and we simply cannot allow that to happen to the American space program, especially our lunar exploration program.
Well, all right, Rick, let's leave it there. It's always good to talk to you. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Don.
And Vice President